What's your favorite poverty meal that you still eat regardless of where you are financially? Bowl of cereal. Fair enough. I'm Mexican. For us, it's usually quesadillas without meat, rice, and black beans as the side. Boiled potatoes and butter. Don't care if I'm rich or poor, that is my go-to snack. Dal? I have no idea what dal is. Dal? Aside from turmeric, you can buy all the ingredients for less than $2 a pound. Oven-baked potatoes with salt and margarine. Cheap ingredients found in almost every home and easy to make. Also, the starch in the potatoes makes you feel full for pretty long. Soup boiled down with rice to bulk it up. Peanut butter sandwich. Based. That's mine. My go-to. Stew. There could be anything in there, but it's still delicious. Hot dogs in baked beans. Jail. Hello, everybody. My name is Mason, and welcome to EmKay Asks. What are some methods you can use to protect your lemon tree from those lemon-stealing Never take more than 10 seconds without looking at your lemon tree. I like to keep my lemon tree next to my bathtub. If I need to look away, my lifeguard can keep an eye on it. Wait a second. Marry one. Then she will chase away the other lemon stealing. Automated lemon juice turrets that will target your eyes. This way, they can't have any lemons, and you have a lot of ammo. Plant 2 lemon trees. Set a banner in front of one mentioning for me, and of another for lemon stealing. No one can stop them. The bear traps only delay the inevitable. Install a sign that says, "Those who venture from Shelbyville to this sacred lemon tree, beware, for Springfieldians will hunt and kill thee." Australians of Reddit, since no peace treaty has been signed to officially conclude the Emu War, how has life in this constant state of war been for you? We've kind of reached a balance of mutually assured destruction. We don't bring in the tanks and nukes, and they don't bring in the cassowaries and drop bears. Pretty brutal, really. My dad was attacked by an emu once. He's bald, and his head's a little shiny. He was sitting on a bench at a wildlife park, and the emu must have been attracted to that shiny reflection. Snuck up behind him and bit his head. I've never seen someone jump so far in one leap before, or since. As a child, this traumatized me a little, and now I am pretty uneasy around all kinds of birds. We took back the cities, but it's in our minds that any day could be the day that we need to pick up our whacking sticks to defend our barbecue retreats from another invasion. After months of negotiations, the koalas and kangaroos are now our allies. We had to give the kangaroos half of Sydney as part of the terms. The large emus left in Sydney are ostracized. Ostracized? That's funny. That's a good one. Some of them are immovable. Hey. We are moving into spring. It is a terrifying time for us all, as their allies, the magpies, launch sorties. Pray for us. Currently in the green zone, otherwise known as Tasmania. Everything is back to normal life now. Things got scary for a little while, but our premier looked after us, got our border shut down early, and it's paid off. Everyone knows that emus can't fly over the Bay Strait. Martin Luther King Jr. said, "If you can't fly, then run. If you can't run, then walk. If you can't walk, then crawl. But whatever you do, you have to keep moving forward." What are your life examples of this? Exercise. A couple months ago, I was crawling. Now I'm walking. Doubt I'll ever be flying, but at least I'm stronger than I was. What, did a baby write this? My career. I feel like I'm flying now, but holy smokes, did I start off as a slow crawl though. Hey, proud of you. This is extremely minor, but I completed a 5K. I'm not a runner. In fact, I hate running. I have short legs and small feet. I'm slow and overweight. I did train, albeit not much. The first thing that came to mind was getting sober from drugs and alcohol. This process describes perfectly what I went through. Excellent quote. I don't know if this has been said before in this post, but there's a phrase that I constantly think of whenever I feel like I can't move forward. An arrow has to go back in order to move forward. That's nice. I like that. I like that a lot. That's nice. When you're lying in bed at night, do you ever randomly remember some relatively minor social missteps or poorly chosen words you did/said years earlier, and then beat yourself up over it even though it wasn't really a big deal? If so, what happened? I went to Dairy Queen with my daughter. She brought along her kitten. The cute girl at the walk-up window asked my daughter what the kitten's name was. Princess was the response. Smiling and feebly attempting to make conversation, I said "today" to indicate that my daughter changed the cat's name frequently. I got a dirty look and the girl left the window to go make whatever cold treat we had ordered. It wasn't until later on the walk home that I realized she thought I was telling her to hurry the hell up and make my order. Still haunts me years later. When I walked down the aisle at my wedding, I was so nervous and focused on not tripping that I did not acknowledge my dad. Oh, what? I didn't realize this until I saw the video my aunt had made for me. You can see my dad lean in to give me a kiss on the cheek, but I just keep walking. He kind of shrugs and then goes to sit down. It's been 18 years and this still flashes through my head when I'm trying to fall asleep. In 7th grade, a cute girl asked me to sit next to her. I said my mom won't let me sit next to girls. My mom said no such thing. Junior prom, I blurted out during dinner to my date, "I'm so bored," and I have no idea why it came out of my mouth. I'm pretty well-mannered and quiet. I forget how I tried to play it off, but I felt so bad. Freshman year of high school. It was one of those days before school starts and you meet your teacher and your parents are there. My teacher was handing me a piece of paper and I didn't see the paper, so I shook his hand. He said, "Oh," and my mom said, and I panicked and said, "I just just wanted to be polite. You're gifted 24 straight hours where you and your pets are suddenly able to understand each other and have real conversations like your old BFFs, just catching up on some lost time. What would you want to tell them, and how would you want to spend those hours with them? I've thought about this before. To figure out what name he gave me. I'd take mine up to the mountains, hike, camp, and just get to know the real them. What makes them happy? Sad? Why do they pee on my husband's pillow? I would tell them how much I truly love them and always will. How happy they make me. Why I don't want them barking at the mail carrier and the very nice UPS guy. Me to them. Quit eating actual piles of shit, including your own. Them likely to me. Then feed me more. Write down every single quality of life improvement I can make for you. Let's go find your perfect food to eat. Let's make sure there aren't any aches and pains you have that we can't address. Tell me all of your favorite spots, what you like, what you don't, literally everything. Why do you eat so fast and puke on my belongings? Why? Stop knocking over glasses. Please. Stop freaking out when I left the house. I will be back like always. If people used breakup lines instead of pickup lines, what would some of them be? I will always cherish my initial misconceptions of you. Damn, holy crap. If you take the L out of lover, it's over. Raise your hand if you have a boyfriend. Not so fast. Brutal. That's brutal as hell. We need to cover more ground, so we should split up. Hey babe, I think it's about time we cancel our gym membership. We're not working out anymore. Girl, you're looking like a snack and I'm going on a diet. Our relationship is like my financial status. Broke. I knew this girl in middle school who would break up with boys by saying, roses are red, violets are blue, trash is dumped, and so are you. You can't time travel, but your phone has the internet from 5 years in the future. What do you search for first? Lottery numbers, stock prices, my name. You may ask why my name, but it's very simple, as I then can learn if I died until then or got caught for some shit. I would start a blog on my PC and then switch to my phone to check if it has updates from the future. If so, my future self could talk to my present self. I could read about my mistakes and try to avoid them. If a post disappears, that would mean I did it right. I'd search to see if The Winds of Winter has been published yet. All sports betting wins of the last 5 years. How close are we to be able to go to Mars? Like a fax from future me? Do not drink that coffee. Dank memes from the future so I can pre-repost them for that sweet karma. Spoken like a true Redditor. Do you ever look at yourself one day and think you're hot as shit, but then the next day comes and you've become Quasimodo? Why do you think this happens? I know I'm a handsome man from the front, but I have a weird head shape from the side, so I avoid turning my head at all times. If I'm far enough away from the mirror, I look okay. 100% sure I angered a very petty warlock at some point in my youth or adolescence. It'd explain a lot, really. I look great in my mirror when getting ready to go out, then I show up in pictures looking like lol. I call it my magic mirror. Put my contacts in. Oh, buddy. Oh, no. Quantity of water versus alcohol I've had. Well hydrated and sober looks a lot better. Lighting is a big influence. There was a GIF I saw on Reddit a while back showing a light circling someone's face, and they look different every second. Also, if you're pale as like me, you'd probably look better in yellow lighting than white. What are some slang terms a 50-year-old dad can say to his daughter to embarrass her? Just say, what up, fam? Then when they get mad, yell, world star! I am taking my 14-year-old daughter and her friends to an anime convention. They are all dressing up to cosplay animal characters. I decided to dress up as Indiana Jones, and I guess that is the worst thing in the world, and I am now an asshole, it seems. No, that's based. When something surprises you, say you are shook. Add an ETH after that for extra effect. You are shooketh. I must be getting old because I came into this thread intending to contribute, but instead I'm taking notes. What's poppin', Jimbo? Say bruh after literally every sentence. Bruh. It's good. That's good. I'm taking notes myself. I'm only 23. I don't have kids and won't have kids, but I just like to say stupid shit. So I got my pen pad writing down right now. To agree with something she says, reply facts. Elon Musk is now worth 197 billion. How do we sell him? Sell him off as a stock. Start a subreddit for owners called r/Elon Musk bets and watch as the owners fight over whether he is overpriced or not. By the gram. I know a couple of guys, but the best they can do is $50. Find an alien bidder, preferably one from Mars considering he's a little obsessed with it. Advertise him for 196.9 billion. Perfect example of the ineffable nature of money. If there is no market for Elon, no buyer if you will, then is he really worth anything? The words low battery appear right before your eyes. You take off your VR headset and realize your whole life has been just a VR simulation, which you've been playing for only a few minutes. How do you react? I tell you how I react. I'd freak the hell out, first of all. Dude, I suck suck at this. No, me too, buddy. Post a very strongly worded review on how shitty and boring the game is. I go online and find a walkthrough so I don't fail miserably again. Well, since I can afford a VR setup, I must be richer in this new life, so I'd be pretty stoked, honestly. Did I save? Did I save? I'll be amazed how I managed to get f***ed up in a game where I'm supposed to be the protagonist. I turn down the difficulty and try again. Steal batteries from the TV remote and keep playing. Duh. What do you think of the idea of adopting elderly people whose children have died as parents or grandparents? Much the same way we adopt children whose parents have died as our own. This reminds me of the programs where kindergartners take the children into aged care facilities and the children pick a buddy and then write letters, draw pictures, and visit their buddy. My town actually has an adopt a grandparent program at some of the nursing homes. They made up profiles with their interests and what they like to talk about so you could choose a grandparent you get along with well. Volunteer to do anything at a senior center. They'll adopt you first. You mean I can get a mom or grandma who will love me and bake me shit and I can entertain and show them my crazy life? Where can I sign up? I think it's lovely. Majority of my parents' friends are child-free and I've done something similar. I visit a lot of them and send them packages. It's always nice to have more great people in your life. You are given a baby on your 21st birthday. The child turns out to be you as a baby. Raising him won't change your life, only his. How would you raise this child to give it a better life than the one you have? Give it to my parents. Don't mock him when he tells me about liking or dating a girl. I hated when my parents did that to me. Make him brush his damn teeth twice a day. Send him to a Tibetan monastery to learn ancient martial arts so he can come back and be the Batman. Listen, bucko, this town ain't big enough for the two of us. Yeet! I too would probably throw the baby. Listen, tell her that she always has someone to talk to, and if she doesn't feel comfortable with me, then we can find the appropriate people. Not downplaying her anxiety with cheer up, it'll get better, it'll be fine. What are subtle red flags at a job interview that say, working here would suck? I always ask about training and learning curves. Every job I've had that went wrong, I noticed that when the question comes up, they stumble. The current job I have, when I asked a question, they had sparks in their eyes as they explained the whole process from day one of shadowing to the transition to working solo. Even when COVID hit, they managed to continue without skipping a beat. They told me all about their generous severance packages. In the initial interview, Turnover City. Well, the overtime isn't mandatory, but most folks stick around after hours most days. Spoilers, the overtime is mandatory. Was interviewed by a senior programmer and the department head. The department head was continuously making condescending remarks towards the other interviewer. Poor guy just sounded broken. Hope he's somewhere else now. Besides always hiring, they seem almost overly eager to say, yes, we could do that to everything you ask. No job will have literally everything you want. And if your gut is telling you they seem to be promising a bit more than they can offer, they likely are. My favorite is, there's a lot of people waiting in line to work here. Count yourself lucky. Huge red flag. If they make shifts 7.5 hours long so you don't get a lunch. Waiters, what Valentine Day disasters have you witnessed? I blew my car's tire and my friend came in to bail me out. We're both straight dudes and forgot it was Valentine's. Decided to have dinner and both were coming from important meetings so had suits on. We didn't catch on until the end on how the entire waitstaff thought we were just the cutest gay couple. I served at a Japanese hibachi restaurant and once had a couple come and the dude dumps her after the meal. She then gets up and throws up a trail probably a good 20 feet as she runs to the bathroom. The dude got up and left the girl and I was left to clean the mess. There was a note in our reservations that it was an engagement. They wanted champagne, a specific seat, bunch of other stuff. The server comes up to the table with something like, so I read we're celebrating an engagement. Congratulations. Confusion from the woman, glaring from the guy. He hadn't proposed yet. She ruined it. Wow. These two were on a date and the guy went to go use the bathroom. The girl just up and leaves after he went to the restroom. When the guy came back, he sat around for a while until asking his waitress where she went. She replied with saying that she left. The guy then asked the waitress if she would go on a date with him. The waitress said no. Okay, buddy. Okay, okay, buddy. Sure. He proposed. She said no. He cried and tried to change her mind for 20 minutes while she sat there stone-faced. She finally got up and walked out. He paid and left in tears. A guy did a backflip and asked a girl to be his Valentine. She declined. I walked up to him and asked if he was fine. He said it took him a week to perfect. Wow. Man. Redditors who work at remote places like forest officers, oil rig workers, etc. What creepy things have you noticed while at work? I've been fishing out in the Gulf of Mexico where they have some oil rigs. This rig wasn't being used from what we knew, so we would get pretty close to it to fish for red snapper. While we were out there, we could have sworn we heard screams of a woman over and over. It was some shit, but the explanation was the wind making the noises as it blew through the rig. I work as a polar bear guard, as in I escort people across tundra and mountains and protect them from polar bears. I once saw a snowman totem with reindeer antlers coming out of its head. It was deformed, full of bullet holes, and rather creepy. I work off a secluded wooded area here in Texas. Every now and again when I finish with a job site, I'll pop into the head office. It's the creepiest feeling at night, mostly no light, and I've seen a bobcat a couple times. The kicker is, the walls are all glass, so when when I have the light on inside, I know I'm being watched by something or someone. I used to work in the Gulf of Mexico on oil rigs for years, and it may not exactly be creepy, but I found it really unsettling. In deep open water, the water itself is really clear, so everyone can plainly see all the tuna and barracudas hanging around the rig, waiting for the onboard cook to throw off whatever food waste he needs to. Every once in a while, a huge great white shark would swim up from underneath and snatch a tuna, and it really took like less than a second. They're really scary. I work on large ships. If you get a clear view of a hull or passage that runs the whole length, you can actually see the whole ship warp and twist with the sea. If the passage isn't very well lit, it can look like a scene from a horror movie. People who are 40 plus and happy with their life, what is your advice to people in their 20s? Don't fall for the trap that your life needs to be one long narrative that you should be building. Life is best when it's a bunch of happy moments that just happen to be connected. Don't try to make your life into a novel. Make it a book of poems. Chris Rock said it best. Now, people tell you life is short. No, it's not. Life is long, especially if you make the wrong decisions. It's never too late to start again. Maintain your friendships. In 20 years, you will be so grateful for those people who saw you through marriages, children, illness, and health. People who will go for a trip with you, love your kids, remember you as a young person, relax more. Don't get angry over little things. Everything you get becomes something you have. Learn how to be happy with having things instead of getting them. 300 to 400 years ago, pirates were a terrifying force to be reckoned with. Now they're family-friendly figures of fun. What will be their modern-day equivalent a few centuries from now? It's already true of Prohibition-era gangsters. Narcos. We don't even need a century to know that just how people idealize these figures of Pablo Escobar and other famous narcos in Latin America. Next on ABC Sports, it's the Tennessee Terrorists versus the Indianapolis Insurgents. The Mafia are already portrayed that way at times. Look at Fat Tony in The Simpsons. Still pirates, with a splash of early 20th century American gangsters. I remember seeing a restaurant kids menu with a pirate theme that said, "Remember kids, a good pirate never takes something that doesn't belong to them." Okay, buddy. Okay, sure. Clowns. In a couple of centuries, we'll have lost our fear of them, and they'll be seen as something lighthearted and slightly wacky with their impractical footwear and whatnot. Wait a minute. What if you suddenly feel a touch on the shoulder following with the words, "Are you sleeping during my class?" You open your eyes and you are at your 7th grade math class. All of the life leading up to this point was just a dream and you are a 7th grader. What are your thoughts? Please no. I can't go back to middle school. Immediately forgets what I was dreaming about. No, Mr. Teacher, I was just resting my eyes and listening. Depends if you vividly keep your memories or they start fading away like dreams eventually do. Am I able to play flute like Jean-Luc Picard? After 26 years, I finally understand how to do the math. I can get an A now. I lost my wife and kids. Can I find her and meet her sooner? Man, that was one long dream. First thought is they are all still alive and I can hug them. 3 siblings and both parents. Second thought is I can live it different this time now that I know what matters in life. What's the best kept secret on the internet? www.axofgord.com. This website has been online since the mid-90s. It's a collection of stories from a guy working at a video game store in Canada. It's like a collection of r/malicious compliance posts. The Gord is just, but ruthless. The writing style is great and the stories are usually pretty funny. libgen.is is a source to get almost every fiction or non-fiction book out there. For non-fiction, you press the SciTech button, and for fiction, you press the fiction button. You can also get comics and textbooks, all for free. It's not libgen. It's like libgen. It's libgen. Oh boy. The Minecraft world seed you found, that is amazing. Who is Satoshi Nakamoto, creator of Bitcoin? Who the f my one follower is? Control plus Shift plus Escape brings up the task manager directly instead of pressing Control Alt Delete and then clicking Task Manager. Well, I learned something today. The Wayback Machine and how you can recover deleted news articles, posts, and otherwise unreachable pages. It's the reason nothing on the internet is truly ever deleted. The identity of the creator or creators of the Cicada 3301 puzzles. People who take massive war crime level dumps in public bathrooms but don't flush. Why? For me, I get confused when there's no paper and no way in hell they had a ghostie. As a janitor, I'd like to know the answer to this as well. Also, why poop in the urinal? I believe it's called the fight or flight response. What if it's so large it just doesn't flush? Can't flush it if it's on the floor now, can I? You're a bastard, Mr. Nathaniel Bennett. Bastard. Jail. Some people like to show off. Not the place to show off, I would say. Probably the most valid question I've come across on this page yet. Working in construction and seeing some of these toilets, I need to know. What is the greatest comeback to an insult you've ever heard? My best friend, after an argument with some kid from our school in a shop, we began walking away down the street. Kid, where are you going? Friend. Your mom's house? Kid. My mom lives the other way, idiot. Friend. Nah, I meant your real mom. Air traffic control doing a poor job of vectoring an Airbus A330 in for landing. Pilot. You've left us too high. I don't think we can make the approach. ATC. You've got speed brakes on that thing, don't you? Pilot. After a noticeable pause. Yes, but those are for my mistakes, not yours. A dude in my class called out a semi-friend of mine that people are talking behind his back. In fact, that wasn't the case. As far as I know, and that guy said, well, you know what they say about you? Nothing. Nobody f***ing cares. So there was two girls fighting, and one of them looks at my sister, who was minding her own business, and says, you go to hell too. My sister. Do you want me to say anything to your mom? Dude. No shot you said that. Oh my god. Context. John Oliver from HBO interviews Stephen Hawking. May he rest in peace. John Oliver. And there may be a universe where I am more intelligent than you? And then Stephen Hawking says, there may even be a universe where you're funny. Get his ass. A guy makes fun of his bald friend by rubbing his head and saying, wow, your head is as smooth as my wife's bottom. The friend also rubs his head and says, wow, you're right. To every Redditor who feels lonely. Hi, how was your day? Lonely. Also, I had a lot of stuff to do. Didn't do any of them. I actually like my own company, but it can get tiring. I am trying to slowly teach myself after a 6-month breakup now to love. Not those around me, but myself, as I have forgot to care for myself like I care for others. I ate a lot of iceberg lettuce. It was great. Hold on. The Redditor's name is Lettuce Lover. Oh my god. I mean, hey, really fitting username. That's so funny. I didn't even notice that. That was good. That's really good. Thanks for asking. I stayed in bed most of the day, not feeling up to seeing humans today. Wish I didn't have to work so I could play video games today. What if 2020 isn't the bad year, but it's the start of a bad decade? Not much I can do except make the best decisions for me and keep chugging along. Mad Max, here we come. The last Reddit post will be a picture of a desolate planet with an endless F comment section. No problem. Just wait for the smartass who comments, the decade starts on 2021. It doesn't. Why do you say this? I will go to the CEO of Bad Stuff and personally ask them to stop. Take one for the team, Michael. We appreciate it. Which job is a lot less fun than most people expect? Oh my gosh, Build-A-Bear. Weirdest and most frustrating thing. Granted, I didn't make it a super long time in the job and seeing kids so happy is great, but they are really strict and the bad times get pretty bad. I'm a forensic scientist and it's literally the only thing people ask me about on dating apps. It's very technical work and extremely routine. Professional photographer. Not like hobbyist, but business owning photographer. Sucks the love right out of your work because you started the business to take pictures. Then Karen doesn't like the way she looks in one of them, so she wants the whole set for free, plus a reshoot for free, plus those images for free. Now get a life, Karen. Barnes & Noble. Your job has literally nothing to do with books, and it obviously attracts a lot of that type, myself included. I do closed captioning. While I joke that yes, I get paid to watch TV, it's actually very tedious. And if you don't actually enjoy the programming, you're being forced to watch something you don't care for. I'm a marine biologist. I spent the last week measuring defrosted fish heads. Goodbye.